Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 20th of 2020, and there's no doubt in saying that a lot of fans had a lot of issues with The Last Jedi when it released back in December of 2017. That was the very month in which the great divide between Star Wars fans really started, based on what writer and director Rian Johnson applied to this new Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing is for certain about The Rise of Skywalker is that this movie had a lot of issues that went along with it because of primarily Kathleen Kennedy initiating many of those reshoots and those rewrites, and a lot of fans since then have been wondering what could have been for Episode 9 if Kathleen Kennedy did not intervene. You know, make no mistake that J.J. Abrams originally wanted to use a lot of Colin Trevorrow's ideas from his original version of Episode 9 called Duel of the Fates, and of course creator George Lucas was even involved in the writing and the directing of multiple scenes for that cut of the movie that involved George, Chris, and J.J. So, when we look at The Rise of Skywalker, the final cut of the movie, the one that you saw in theaters, that is of course everything that Kathleen Kennedy implemented into the movie, and what we could have got was all by George, JJ, and Chris Terrio. Now, with that being said, we do know that Bob Iger and Bob Chaypek are working on a major plan to release the JJ/George Lucas cut of The Rise of Skywalker sometime in 2023 on Disney+, most likely in December of 23, which is 3 years plus away, so it is still quite a long ways to go until we are finally able to see those deleted scenes and more. However, what's really intriguing all has to do with what they originally wanted to do with, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, where during the fall of 2018 and the beginning of 2019, The Rise of Skywalker went through many changes by Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, where she deleted many scenes and even put new scenes into the film, assuming the fans would enjoy those choices. It's explained that Kennedy cost Disney tons of money for initiating many of those reshoots, where it's described that one of the deleted scenes involved both Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker that would actually be considered to be a reunion scene in the form of a flashback. It's said that the original scene would take place on the world of Exegol, when Luke's Force Ghost speaks to Rey and tells her about a wise lesson he was given when he himself first arrived on the island of Ahch-To. The sequence, instead of the Luke and Leia training scene on Endor, would then cut to a living Luke Skywalker on Ahch-To near the Tree Library, reading the sacred Jedi texts, where the Force Ghost of Anakin would appear. First being heard by Luke as a voice, to where it pans over to Anakin standing by the entrance, similar to what Luke did to Rey when asking her, "Who are you?" The scene was originally going to give fans a reunion between father and son, where Anakin would be holding one of the books and reading a short passage to Luke Skywalker of the book, before it would cut back to Luke and Rey on Ahch-To. So, let me just stop right here for a second, is that this would have been a little bit of a callback to what Rian Johnson did in The Last Jedi, and almost as if JJ and George were creating a better version of that scene in a sense. You can see that there are a little, hints here and there by JJ about what he wanted to fix based on what Rian Johnson made mistakes with, such as when Luke grabs the saber and says a Jedi's weapon needs much respect. That was a direct callback to when Luke just threw it over the cliff. Now, an additional scene involved the Battle of Exegol, where at one point in his sequence, Matt Smith as the Dark Acolyte would be taken over by Palpatine Spirit. Now, this is where things begin to get very intense, is because Palpatine Spirit was going to be full CGI as a red, shapeless figure, where it was best described as abstract form, where Palpatine's voice would actually be heard through echoes to the Dark Acolyte, before taking over his body slowly. It's described that eventually the scene would then progress to a moment in which the Dark Acolyte would engage in a full-on lightsaber duel against Kylo Ren, where Matt Smith's character would use Palpatine's double-bladed lightsaber and split them into two single-bladed sabers to face off against Kylo to have the upper hand. The scene was going to involve a moment in which eventually Kylo defeats Smith's character, where Palpatine's spirit then takes over Kylo Ren, where once it enters his body, Kylo would then have a far older design, since the spirit is not fully compatible, since at this point Kylo has a bit of light within him as Rey reaches out to Kylo. The sequence was going to involve a new John Williams track that was deleted from the film and by Kathleen Kennedy, where another sequence involved a key moment in the movie in which Rey would enter the netherworld of the Force after her death, where fans would actually see what happened to Rey after she temporarily died before being saved by Ben Solo after her attack on Sidious. She would actually then meet with all the Force ghosts of the past, such as Luke, Kenobi, Yoda, Anakin, Leia, Qui-Gon, Mace Windu, and others, that would then tell her she can decide to stay here willingly or let the last Skywalker save her life. In the end, in this cut, it was actually Rey accepting Ben Solo's life force exchange to bring her back to the netherworld, or should I say to the mortal world from the netherworld, to where Rey would say her goodbyes for now with the Force ghosts. Many of these scenes were all written by Lucas and J.J. Abrams in the end. So, let me know what you guys think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.